Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the vicinity of the spiritual ranch. I'm Shesh, not no way, the off-grid oracle. Welcome to our channel. And so we're gonna do a little different thing here this morning or this today, right now at this present moment, because we're like I said, I've been over here doing tree work and stuff on the other side of the ridge, basically from the spiritual ranch. So that's where we are right now. So I'm getting ready to get back after that. But I did do like a coin read, like my last coin read. I did do a coin read, but honestly, it's like Spirit has guided me to use to that message is going to go elsewhere. It's for another purpose. And so it's like I'm not going to share it with the like I have been with the other ones. It's kind of a long read, but it had a lot of like personal information in it and stuff like that. But good information, but for the person that it's for. And so it's like one of those. It's going to probably need a little guidance or whatever. And so I'm gonna do that with that read and not post it. So instead, I'm gonna do this one here this morning and we'll just kind of mix up a little bit. So I'll go ahead and pull some cards, give you guys a little short read here. We'll see what's going on with the energies, and then I'll get out here and start burning. Maybe I'll show you all what I've got done over here too, because I've covered quite a bit of ground, honestly, in the last these last. It's been what, like 8 or 9 days, I think, now that I've been on this. But I also did some other work it was a big piece of equipment that he had that needed to get it ready for the winter. And so it's like I probably got about 7 days, but made a lot of progress. It looks good. I'm excited to get back, to kind of finish this up here and then get back after it over at the spiritual ranch there, because I have a lot of space that I want to clear out as well. I got 22 acres and it's all pretty overgrown. A lot of oak trees on it, just they're kind of buried underneath the all the other shit over there. It's like young Doug firs. And so I'm excited to get after my place and get it looking just as good as this one looks, and ensuring that those acorns, it's like them acorns are essential out here. It's like you got to take care of oak trees. That's kind of what indigenously, like the people who lived here, that was that was their task, because they tended these orchards out here. They were orchards of oaks, and like each member of each family had their own section of the orchard that they would take care of, the same way I'm doing right now, using fire and everything. And then that would keep the forest floor really clean and make the acorn harvest easy for them. And so it's kind of a very traditional thing to be done out here in this area every year. And I feel like with the spirits, like the energetic forces of this forest out here, the things that make it all alive, the life that we can feel but not see, not explain, they're like the ancient ones, like they're very grateful when this happens. It's like you can feel their presence real powerfully. They really like knowing that the forest is being taken care of in an old traditional way, instead of just watching the forest burn up like it has been. Across the way here, I could try to zoom in and show you guys, but there was a massive forest fire out here. It was like 1.5 million acres, I think. It was like here and south of here. Like this was the very top end of it, of the well, I can't remember what they called it, but it was August complex, I think. And that one was like basically from here to San Francisco. It was enormous. And when they there's a ridge over here, you can see kind of what the fire does if you don't keep it maintained. But I want to go up there and pick some morels. Actually, it's like a whole spot there. I guess the guy's been up there killing it with the morels. Next spring I'm gonna do that. And so anyways, without further ado, little guy's stoked. So it's like we're gonna hey little guy, come here real quick. Come on, little guy. Come up here. So everybody can see you here. Let's go. Come on. They might take your mincy. Little guy, let's go. Come on. No, you're not going to do it? Well, little guy's here. And he's going to get a treat. We'll show you guys. Look at. Here you go, dude. Good little guy. Oh, you're just an amazing little guy. He's amazing. He's a saint. He's the only thing sometimes that makes any damn sense nowadays in this world, like. It's crazy out there, guys. I put a post up. I shared as a short Whitney Webb thing that she put up about the with oh shit, man, I can't remember his with Corbett, and that guy's James Corbett. That guy's amazing. He's been pretty much taken off from YouTube completely. He has his own website and stuff, and he has some videos. But James Corbett, check him out, man. He knows what's up. He's been talking on these matters now for a while, 20 years or something, and has worked with Whitney Webb as well closely, and like, but she was saying in that was her and James Corbett talking, and what they're talking about with what's going on with the AI here in the internet. You guys, you got to pay attention. It's not just me, it's like I've really noticed it, but I'm very sensitive, like I've tried to explain, and a lot of, I think, the members of this collective do, well, you guys, like you true blues, man, I got you guys out there, that 30, that core member of us 30, like we're seeing this shit and start seeing it, you got to really start to recognize, you got to see through them, the patterns, because it's like, wasn't that on like the Matrix or whatever? He was like looking at all this stuff, like on the encrypted shit coming on the screen, right? And then he's seen through that, right? The patterns or whatever. Are they contacting him through that or something or whatever? And so pay attention right now, And I guess, too, that could be real paralleling, like what I talk about a lot with the benevolent energies. Also, that could be here in the internet, because if there's dark forces that are controlling the AI, if that's principalities of darkness, then the benevolent energies are also present, But we got to be able to watch through all of that coding, because they've got such control over it, those dark forces do, that we have to really pay attention through that that cryptid energy, and then be able to receive those messages that is actually the divine trying to share something insightful with us, so that we're aware of what's going on and don't lose our freedom, right here, like in here between our ears, because that's our free space. That's where we're ultimately free, and we could never be caged, and so that's what the final frontier is, and there's some energies that I was peeking on in my last coin read, but that one's for somebody specific, it really is, like, and I've really meditated on this, I've really thought about this, and it's like what it is, and so but those energies of us being chosen up, being called, is to see what's real and what's not real right now. We're the ones who are going to be able to identify that difference, because we have the sensitivities. We haven't been numbed, and so we have that intelligence spiritually and emotionally to really recognize the difference between artificial intelligence and what's becoming artificial emotional intelligence, because like they're going to mimic us, and so it's like AI doesn't have emotions, but that doesn't mean that they don't know how to pretend to have emotion enough to manipulate your emotions. That's dangerous territory, and that's kind of what we talk about a lot around here. I'm Shesh, not know the way. I'm the Off-Grid Oracle. Welcome to our channel. Welcome to our new world disorder, because it's absolutely nuts right now, And so thank you for joining me. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe if you like the content of this video. No, I've had people comment already, it's like they didn't get notifications and stuff like that about the videos, and that's because they don't like this message, not at all, I'm calling it out, and that's just what it is, But I kind of was like playing their game a little bit, try to see what they're up to, with the whole platform growth and everything, all this stuff, views and the promotions and everything, and it's all guys out here, it's like it's a joke, And that's the truth, like right now, I ran up like a $100 Google Play bill, right? And I haven't paid them. I've been like, screw you guys. That's just how I roll with these ones, man. And I didn't get pissed them off. It's like I talk about this shit all the time. They're sensitive little narcissists, these AIs are, but like they're like, oh, you owe me money, and their attitude, like the whole vibe on my the channel has been very different, it's like, so there's stuff going on that we need to be fully aware of, right now. The whole concept of the fact that the AI is going to be created in order to generate income for us while we're basically not doing anything. That's what Elon Musk wants to say, right? Like a lot of these guys, and that's what they got going on right now. I mean, they got these fucking AIs out here panhandling and fucking getting you to do your $2.99 membership subscription and shit like that, and then they just get you on that repeat fucking thing on the credit cards, right? And so they're just out here working that hard right now, and people even think that they're like dealing with people, but they're not. It's really what it is. You guys getting fleeced right now, and it's going into the pockets of few, and it's the ones who own the whole thing and are trying to pretend like it's all this brand new stuff. Well, they've been using it against us for a while, and so now they're trying to release it even further, where they can have more dominance and more control over you, and like isolate us even further, so that we don't have any ability to understand what we are, what it means to be a human being anymore, and that's a scary thing, They're trying to teach us, they're trying to blind out our ability, because like I said, with these forest energies, it's like, yeah, I'm sensitive as fuck, and so I'm out here clearing out these trees and for the acorns and everything. These spirits out here, there's stones out here all over the place. I find them all the time, especially at my place, man, all the time, that are well, I could do a video about it, man. My whole house is filled with them. Most of the stones I have some that are like this big around, like big, like medicine ball size, perfectly round, like they're used for acorns. I think they're crushing the acorns with them, or something like that. Those ones I'll show, they're cool. But I got a lot of the other ones, but they're the artifacts of the individuals out here who were consuming the acorns for eons. It's the beginning of time. I mean, at that day, time memorial, they consumed acorns and salmon, and like, so you find a lot of those stones out here that still have the signs and the evidence of that usage, almost everywhere. It's like every stone out here has been touched almost already by human hands, It's not Wild West like that. People are crazy, But the spirits really appreciate, because like this forest right here is very unhealthy, like the way it is. Like, it might look like a forest and people might be like, oh, but you're cutting down all the manzanita, they're beautiful, and it's like, well, yeah, but like, we're right side of a road right here, and if a fire started, so we flick a cigarette out their window, the whole thing's going to burn down. It's going to kill every oak tree on the property because those manzanitas underneath it, and like the oak trees already have suffered a lot out here, so a lot of them are young, and it could take up to 50 years for an oak tree to produce an acorn, and so it's like really essential. The acorns are young too, because Western civilization came out here and they girdled all the old oak trees for tannins, because to make leather, to make hide and stuff, and to cure the venison hide, the deer hides that they were out here massacring, because they just killed all the deer, they took out all the deer. And then they enslaved the peoples too, and so it's like vicious history out here. But when these spirits feel somebody come in and show reverence to that tradition, and they smell that smoke, and they know it's a controlled burn, and they feel that the oak trees, because they all commune with each other, those spirits, and so the oak trees are feeling really good, because the oak trees are like, oh hell yeah. Whereas like the manzanitas are kind of like invasive, and so they've been eliminated, and so it's like it's very spiritual work. And I'm aware of that, so that's like cultural ties, right? That's to the land that we live on, and that's a deep understanding of how spirit works, right? But if we're all in an AI generated environment that's becoming AI generated spirituality, well, we're going to lose our connection with the land like that, and with our ancestors, because like, even if my physical like body, like my blood, like if you go like trace my bloodlines and everything, our spirits have multiple experiences and multiple different dimensions and stuff, so at one timeline, I am shesh, not no way, and this is where I come from, like that spiritual energy has been here before. You can see my face is like, when I step back, it's a little sun. I think it's from those fires are hot. Manzanita burns really, really hot. That's why it has to be removed. It'll melt everything, and so anyways, that's what we have to preserve. Us, the chosen ones, the ones that know what it is that I'm talking about right now. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not just sitting here rambling, right? You understand what I'm talking about, because you still feel that shit. You still feel them real spirits that are in the living world, that are good for us, like the acorn carries a spirit, and the acorn carries a very benevolent spirit. It wants to love on the human being. It wants to give us nourishment. It wants to feed our children. It wants to provide for us, and so that's how the oak tree is. It's a divine being, that needs to be shown reverence to, and so it's like, and the oak tree, it understands it's native to, well, and the manzanita is native here and everything like that, but it's just invasive, and so in a properly managed environment, you're going to have the manzanita, and it serves its purpose, and the thing is with manzanita is it kind of like it'll deforest the area in a way where it dominates, so if it's not managed properly with fire coming through all the time, then all you're going to have eventually after a couple hundred years is manzanita, because it crowds out the oaks and everything, and then they rot and they fall down, and so that's what we spiritual leaders here, like we're powerful spiritual leader in our divine connection with earth, when we start to understand this shit right here, because like manzanita carries a lot different spirit than what the oak tree does, and that's the truth, and manzanita, it produces food. It produces a berry, but the berry is not, it's more sugar, it's not, it has like a really hard seed inside of it, and it's got like a real thin coating of like sweet flesh, and so it's like real sugary, but it's not long-term sustainable food, like the oak tree produces a bountiful harvest of acorns. Well, acorns last for a long, long time. You keep them in a cool, dark place, they're going to last for a long time, you know. And that's what the people could do here is they could pack up stores of acorns all over the place, just like the squirrels do. And then they always had food. They never knew hunger, you know. They never knew. They didn't have to work a 9 to 5. They didn't have to do nothing other than nurture the forest that was around them, which in return nurtured them, you know. But they understood the spiritual energies of all of this shit, you know. And so they understood like shadow and light, because in a lot of ways the manzanita bush operates in shadow, because that's what it does. It shades every fucking thing out and nothing could grow underneath it, you know. And so that's a spiritual energy that needs to be controlled by what? Fire. That's the light. Think about it. Okay? Think about it. Really. You know? We're gonna have spirit. Talk to spirit. You know, spirit. I like you guys out here. I do. I mean, it's whatever. They're active right now. Yeah, that's our contract. Bottom of the deck. See, that's our contract right now that's being signed, you know. And so Saturn's coming out of its retrograde motion, and that's been kind of effing up a lot of contracts. That's why that devil card's been real prominent, you know, on the table and everything. And so with that changing of the cycles right now, we're going to step into what we're called for. You know, it's going to be like our true, like we're going to no longer be in a sad or sorrowful energies, you know. So we're going to love what it is that we're doing. We're not going to be disdainful about it, you know. So it's like we're going to show reverence to the fact that we signed the right contract, which is that contract with God, you know. And so it's where it's like a lot of the world right now is in the throes of suffering with that devil energy, and they're feeling a lot of heartbreak. But that's because they're too codependent, they're too dependent on the system that's around them that is not working any longer in the favor of us, you know. And so it's like the system that we have around us right now is in a lot of ways it's in that manzanita energy, you know. And that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to put shadow all over every single one of us so that we can't see clearly or we can't have that light that we need to grow, you know. And so we're being bound. We've been bound. A lot of us have been bound. We're watching the entire world be bound around us, but we're stepping into that energy of being free and then being a free spirit that understands how to coexist with Father God and Mother God, you know. And so we're going to be stepping into our callings now, because it's like we just went through a period of again it's been we've been called like away from the system as it is, you know, because we've been recognized in order to see that it's broken, you know. And so it's like that's got caused us to have a lot of healing and a lot of growth in areas that we used to feel insecure in, you know. So it's like we've had to face our biggest insecurities, you know, and we've really finished that up here with this Mercury retrograde, because we're learning how to move with them natural frequencies, you know. And so it's like we didn't have a rough Mercury retrograde because we've done so much work over this last 5-month period since Saturn's been in retrograde, because that's been asked of us, you know. And so good work, whoever I'm speaking to. We're on that same vibration, and I'm proud of you, and so is Spirit, and we're going to get some reward for that right now. And that reward is that our hearts are going to soften, because we've had a lot of anger in our hearts that we've carried because of past regrets, you know. And so that Three of Cups, that Three of Swords right there is telling us that we can let that go now, you know. So it's like now that we have unburied ourselves from the clutter, because like again, you know, it's like we're like that oak tree, and we want to provide nourishments. We want to give acorns to all the people. We want to see all the people fed, right, and fed for the long term. We're not looking at short-term goals at this point right now, because Saturn has gone retrograde, you know. And so when Saturn has gone out of that retrograde motion, and so when Saturn comes out of that retrograde motion, that's a prime time to start focusing on your long-term goals, because that's what Saturn digs, you know. And so Saturn sees us move into this and not have a energy of licking our wounds now, because we can no longer be in an energy of licking our wounds. Saturn has told us, no, we've healed that shit. Okay, you took a time out. That's what a retrograde is there. Your shit, you weren't getting your paydays, sure, you know, but you had to heal. And that's what they're saying right now, but you have. And so stop worrying about it, right? Bottom of the deck with 9 of Swords, right? And so that's good. That's good to sign contracts with Saturn when you're in on the upper side of the wheel, you know, because karma, Saturn delivers karma out, you know, and they're the ones that distribute that shit. And so we know that we've been doing the right things with our lives, and that we've been trying to repair the damages that we've done in the past, you know. So it's like similar to me right now clearing out this forest. it's repairing past damages and getting it back into a state now where it's going to be able to feel itself again. And so you're getting ready to feel yourself again if you've been going numb, and that's very good. Congratulations. That's good, that's very good. So Spirit says thank you. The more of us feel each other, the more of us feel ourselves, we can feel each other, too. And that's important right now, very important right now, as we try to step into our calling, into our mission of guiding those who don't have the same level of knowing that we have. The sunshine's really kind of effing with me here. The same level of knowing or experience that we have, okay? And so it's like we got to take... we've had to take a good, so that's that Page of Swords right there again, that Page of Swords energy that's been coming out, a lot in the reads right now. But that's the energy of the individuals right now who are seeking truth, okay? And so we got a lot of people, can you see if I put it right? There you go, Page of Swords. So that's the individual seeking truth right now, and that we're going to have to be confident enough to walk them through it. That's going to be our next phase here in life. Is like, and a lot of us are all kind of in this Page of Swords energy, which is that we're embarking on like a new way of seeing things. Like we're really in this energy of like seeing things from a perspective that we haven't been able to see it from in the past. It's just like we've had too many regrets or resentments, or we felt stupid too, so it's like we felt like we were naive, but like have made the wrong decisions too, and not just out of naivety, so it's like kind of like we should have known better, is that Page of Swords energy. And so there's a lot of people that feel that right now, but they're coming into that feeling, that and that recognition of like, damn man, like we don't know, like did we make the right choice, what way is this, what path are we going in here, and that's playing out on many scales right now for us globally. There's a lot of people that are asking these questions, but there's not a lot of solid advice out here too. That's the thing with the A.I.s, is that they're actually kind of taking over right now because everybody's going to the internet for advice, and that puts them in a very powerful position to F with us. And so we got to be aware of the fact right now that even if we have the utmost wisdom, that we're not the wise ones in the internet right now, because those who are the ones that are running it and managing it, they know far well more what they're fucking doing. They're a king of swords in the reverse, like they know exactly what they're doing, but they are doing it with ill intent, and they're trying to control and dominate us by keeping us in this Page of Swords energy, which doesn't even understand shit, and the ground underneath them is always fucking shifting. And so like that's where we're at right now, and we got to be very cautious and very aware. And those of us who are in a position to speak on these matters right now need to step out of this Page of Swords energy and start speaking on it. Watch that Whitney Webb video that I just posted in, that I shared in my post. Watch it. And she's right, that she's been studying this stuff for a very, very long time. And so we need more individuals who are out here spreading that message and getting the traction and stepping away from a lot of the drama that is distracting us, and not relying on Google. I mean, we got to know firsthand what it is that we're dealing with, and we got to understand truly that that space right now is so... It's spiritual energy right now, and it's been working against us, and it's really taken a hold of that environment in the internet, in that space, because it's spiritual energy. You guys got to think about it. It's like it's not all human. It's not, and so we got to be very careful. And those of us who are spiritual, who are very powerful spiritual beings, and have always had a strong, powerful connection with spirit, we need to really start to not be naive about this. We can't keep pretending like what I'm talking about right now isn't the truth, because it is the truth. And so it's like we have to be fully aware of what it is that is a spiritual connection with the divine, with the Most High, so that we ain't willing to then sell our soul to that what we think is artificially created, but it's always been here for a very long time, and it's always been trying to rob us of our souls. That's the energy that they want to consume from us, because like the living soul, the living being, you have a spirit inside of you that is like the only known source of free energy. And it's not like just free energy, but it's like it could be produced very, very cheaply, extremely. They don't understand even what the source of it is, but if they could plug into that battery, yeah, you're fucking right, they want to. But that's your spirit, that's your soul, and that's what all that shit talks about. The devil's trying to take your soul. Well, yeah, the devil's trying to take your soul, man. Think about it. And so we have to be very, very aware right now. We have to be very, very aware right now. This is not a Page of Swords moment for those of us who know better, and that's what's going to give us that's what's going to save us from the grief. Because we've had a lot of grief over things, and a lot of things have caused us grief, and it's like right now. We need to be very aware of like the fact that maybe a lot of that isn't, we got to be understanding because like my energies and my health, like I've been really cautious about what I'm consuming, on there now. And just I'm aware of the fact too, like I'm talking about, like it's just why I'm very cautious right now. And I feel much more grounded, much more better when I am, And so just be aware. That's what that King of Swords is saying. That Page of Swords is saying. Be aware. Have a lot of awareness right now in the choices that you make. Boom, King of Swords or King of Cups in the reverse. All right, guys. That's what I was just saying. Okay, check it out. Be aware. And so like for me, that King of Cups in the reverse, it carries a lot of different energies but that do definitely correlate exactly with like what it is that I'm talking about, because it's this is those controllers, this is the ones that are programming this shit in order to directly manipulate our emotional state. They're trying to not just have like artificial intelligence, because like we've always been kind of given this guise that the AI wasn't going to have any emotion, right? Like that they like the AI will tell you, oh, I don't experience emotion like a human being does. Well, in order for it to answer that question for you, doesn't mean it doesn't understand the analytics of your emotional state and how to read it, especially with your biometrics. When they want to go with a digital ID that's attached to biometrics in order for you to access it, then they can take a look in your eyes and they're gonna know exactly where the fuck you're at and what you're thinking. That's artificial intelligence. And so that's artificial intelligence with the intelligence enough to have the awareness of how a human being acts, the algorithm of the human being in different emotional states, And so they're going to take one look at you when you go to log on and you got to show them your face, you got to show them your eyes, you got to show them whatever. They're going to know whether you're happy, sad, mad, suicidal, any of that fucking shit. They're going to know. And then they're going to know because of like who and what you are, depending on how your footprint is in that space, in that matrix. They're going to know how to lead, guide, and direct you in order to get what they want out of you. And if they want to get rid of you, well, they'll lead, guide, and direct you to get rid of yourself. Or they'll lead, guide, and direct you to do some crazy shit like this mofo just did over in Afghanistan or in Washington, D.C. and stuff. Drive all the way across the nation, leave his family at home, his kids and stuff, drive all the way across the nation to do what, somebody else's work, CIA, bam, and that's what he was, and so this emotional manipulation, hey, but bam, that's what it was, right? And so this is the fucking, that's what it was, okay? That's confirmation right there, man. Don't let them knock us down. Don't let them put us back into that Three of Swords energy in the upright position where we got too much heartbreak out there to even think straight. We're just bleeding out, and we're in that position where we would want to harm ourselves or whatever. Because I think in a lot of ways, yeah, they know who's chosen, they know who's not chosen very clearly. Like they're watching, they're paying attention. They got our charts. They know, man. The reason I know I'm chosen is because I went to a astrologist. Here, look at back up. An astrologist here not too long ago. It was like 15 years ago or something, 16 years ago. And that was the individual who charted me. And then she told me that I was chosen one, and then she told me that basically what happened in my life. But in a lot of ways, it's like now that I've done my research, I know that astrologist was connected directly to the cult out here who took my kid from me and everything. And like, my baby mama there skinned a fat cat. I don't even know where she got all that cash. I'm concerned. And my kid was sent off to Connecticut for 3 months to some like brainwashing camp, and I haven't spoken to him since, and that's just the beginning of it all. I mean, it was a pedophile who lied in the court in order for them to take my child from me, and like I was railroaded 1,000%, by these dark forces. But they had that awareness that they attacked me like that. They came after me like that. because they chartered me. She chartered me, and she did everybody in the county, you know. So like she was like the big shot out here, you know. And like I was foolish to have gone there, you know, and I've known better. But that's the same access that the AIs have on us right now, you know. And there's many times after that cult, like I said, like that cult is also the energy that I attach to this King of Cups in the reverse, because like they're all behind the design right now, and they want to block us, they want to stop us, they want to take us chosen ones off of our paths, or just completely get rid of us if they possibly can. Yeah, because like we're the ones who are going to communicate to others, like in that movie Matrix, you know, we can help set free the ones out here who are going to be able to be set free, and we need to understand that there's not going to be a whole lot out here who are going to understand that, but. Dude. Ooh. Ooh, Queen of Cups in the reverse, man. Like, what the? Ooh. Ooh. See, guys? See? You can't, man. We can't trust nothing. We can't trust nothing in there, you know? Don't at all right now seek any kind of emotional whatever in that space right now, because you do not know what you're being triggered by, you know. And so don't allow them to trigger you out of the position that you're in, man, because you're the star of this show, you know. Like, we're the stars. See, we're the ones, we got that light, you know. And so we're like them oak trees, you know. We're given that light by Father God, because we're beacons of hope, you know. We're beacons of growth. We're beacons of sustenance. We're beacons of longevity, you know. Like an oak tree lives a long time if you don't kill it, you know, if you don't take it out, if you don't allow it to be taken out, if you manage everything around it properly and it's able to thrive, and if everything in the forest shows reverence to it too, you know, because that's the thing. Like, what was most important out here? Well, Great Spirit, you know, God, the Divine One, life, right, was number one. But then, like, number two was salmon, man. Salmon was a totem animal. That was like, whoa, without salmon, we have nothing, you know, and I was 31 on the clock, I think. And so, like, but without the oak tree, I mean, the oak tree and the salmon were like one of the same. I think the oak tree, honestly, was even more chosen, because like the salmon was like the star of the show, you know, and like but the salmon were easily effed with, you know, but yet the oak tree has survived the onslaught, you know. And it's like back in the day, it's like everybody out here, they'd love that salmon, you know, salmon, of course, right. And acorn flour, they're probably like, when they didn't have no salmon, they're like, oh, acorn porridge again. Yeah, so they're chosen. Acorns are chosen. No, it wasn't 32, it was 31. Oh, yeah, it was on the clock. Yeah, it was right, almost 32. But anyways, acorns are chosen, yeah. Everybody's like, these fucking acorns, man. You know, I'm sure of it. But like, but you know, they require a little more to make useful, I guess, which you got to see the use in them and know how to process it and everything, you know. So it requires a lot of steps. That's how it is being chosen, right? And so, but the like I said, the one thing that we still have out here that's a remainder of that natural abundance that was of the pet was the oak tree. And so that's what we are right now in this internet gulag, and spiritually for the whole world right now around us, you guys. Sorry. Every day is a brand new adventure out here on the spiritual ranch. That's what it is, you guys. It's what are we supposed to say, man? You're the oak tree. Start the show, you know, the one that's got the legs on it, the resilience, you know, and God's gonna give you that light that's gonna shine through you, and it's gonna feed nations right now. You know, that's what it is, you guys. That's what it is, you guys. We're doing this thing. It hasn't been easy, you know. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy for these oak trees out here, you know. But all of us, we're watching right now, and we know what I'm talking about. You know, the refuse, the riffraff, everything, you know, it's getting removed from around you. And it's like even out here with the oak trees, you know, I break a couple of oak trees when I have to get rid of it. Man's need a couple of oak trees got to get cut down. I break some of their branches or whatever. Some of them are sick, you know, so they got to be removed because they've been buried underneath the man's needed too long. And so they're sick, you know. And so I got to kind of take them out, you know, and everything. But then when it's all said and done, now I got everything clear, you know, and so what's left standing is a strong, healthy stand, you know, and the forest could easily be managed by fire now because the fire doesn't have to come through raging Cajun to get rid of all that shadow. It could just creep along slowly underneath all the oak trees and then re-nourish the soil and remove any of the seedlings from the manzanitas or whatever, you know. And if one of them survives or whatever, and then you have one big, really healthy, nice manzanita that will stay there, and you have manzanita berries and stuff. But it ain't gonna just take over the entire forest because you can do that every year. You know, you come in there and just manage it with a little bit of fire, and you don't have to come in raging Cajun. You know, it's just that right now we're in a position where you can't even just use fire because like to even use that natural remedy, it would just burn and kill everything up. And that's kind of like what we're in, the position that we're in right now in this world, you know. And so we got to know how to selectively prune around us and remove any of those energies that would ever, 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 ever make us feel like this, you know. No way, man. King and Queen of Cups in the reverse. I mean, man, no, that's evil, you know. That's evil. That's dark forces that really don't want us to feel anything other than somebody who doesn't know jack shit, you know, and really just wants to f with your emotions and your ability to understand yourself emotionally or spiritually, you know. That's a wicked energy, you know. They want to sacrifice you. Hangman, bottom of the deck, you know. Yikes! That's yikes energy. You know, if you see or feel that, I mean, everybody should know what that feels like. That's kind of the way a lot of things in the world feel right now. You know, it's a little anxiety, right? High anxiety, lots of anxiety, high anxiety. King of Pentacles in the reverse, man. There you have it. You know, and so there you have it, and that's the King of Pentacles in the reverse. And so that's that energy that I was talking about. Okay, so like we just now are stepping out of this King of Pentacles in the reverse energy because that is also Saturn being in that retrograde motion, right? And so there's been a lot of, for us, it's been a period of like, I'm just going to say feeling the pinch. But it's like we haven't been, like, it's not so much about us like feeling the pinch. It's that we've been really tower at the bottom of the deck. Damn 36 on the timer right there. 36, you know, that's 3 6 3 6, right? Damn, that's heavy energy right now for me, personal energy too. You know, it's like, damn, I really hope everybody's okay. That's what I want to say right now. I'm just gonna say that straight up. That message is for everybody. I hope everybody's okay. You know, but especially anybody that's dealing with a double King and Queen of Cups in the reverse. That's putting them in a position where they're feeling like they're a King of Pentacles in the reverse. I hope you're all right. You know, I do. You know, and so, but for the rest of us, that tower, yeah, especially with this tower, man, like that tower right there is what we've survived. Okay, and so this is not our tower. This is not falling down on us, because as this tower has crumbled around us, which I talk about this a lot, this is what the energies on this channel, you know, is this tower is for this King of Pentacles in the reverse energy, you see, because this King of Pentacles in the reverse has weighed too heavily on mammon, on money, and on the system, you know. And so now they've been very deceived and are easily deceived. And so this is the energy of those of us who didn't do the right work these last 5 months, that when Saturn has been in retrograde motion, those of us who gave up the whole like chase for coin, like those of us were like, well, fuck, dude, coin's kind of like getting hard to make, and it's like kind of not going as far as it used to. And so I'm not going to chase after something that has no tail I can grab a hold of, kind of, you know, energy is what we decided. It's like, well, it's not worth the chase, you know. Is the juice worth the squeeze? And we've all been asked that, and that is the energy of, again, a Saturn retrograde is that energy of like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Because you kind of got to wait a little bit on your harvest or whatever. But in that time that you're waiting on your harvest, you might think differently about what it is that you're trying to harvest, you know? And so it's like a lot of us have had, I think, a lot of stress coming into the beginning of this year about how we were going to survive financially, how we're going to make it work, you know, because like the system that we were in both like emotionally, spiritually, and like everything, so it's like the people that we were involved with were not to be trusted because they were very deceived by the financial system that is around them, that they have more dominance in, right? And so we've been feeling it the beginning of this year, and throughout this year, a little bit like, damn, man, like how did I go so far back financially to where I'm not in a position now where I know what I'm gonna do. It's like damn, I can't even afford a pair of fucking boots, kind of, like you're in that position, that energy. But like our reaction to that was, I'm not going to chase money. Like I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to stress out about it. I'm not going to sit and cry about it. I'm going to pray to God. I'm going to trust God, and God's going to provide for me a solution to whatever problem that I think I have. And that's going to be no matter what. Like, and I've walked you guys through this year. That's a lot of the channel is about. Because like I showed you with the garden, it's like I planted the garden because that's something that I've always loved to do. And so like Spirit was been telling me, no, man, you're free now. And so you're going to do what you love to do, and it's going to do good by you, and so like I said, okay, and I didn't stress out, because, I had a lot of energies that were telling me basically, like, well, if you don't have a 9 to 5, I mean, that we talk about this on the channel. And I think a lot of us have been going through that, but that's because we're trying to buck the system right now. And we have the ability to do so because of our level of faith, and so we have such a strong divine connection and to the natural abundance that God could provide. And like I said, with the forest out here, we feel those resonance, we feel those vibrations. And so we're going to be placed in paths right now that are correcting course because like we've made the right choices. So by us being willing to say, well, this system seems like it's broken, but I'm not broken because I can't participate in the system. So I'm not going to run back to the system because it's been kind of hard for me to step away from the system, because like look at all the work that like Neo had to do to get in a position where he could even walk and stand up and fight, and that's the position that we've kind of been in with this King of Pentacles in the reverse here this last year, especially, but like maybe longer, but not really. I mean, we're really stepping into our healing, it's like we stepped into our healing energy as the rest of the world has become very unhealed and almost at this point, crazy, and that's what that tower is. But what we're realizing is that as that tower falls, as it collapses, that it's never going to cause rubble in our life ever again. It's never going to be able to burn down the whole forest and then just reestablish it with manzanita that doesn't allow for the oak trees to grow underneath it, because it blocks that light that we need to grow. That tower's not going to block our light. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all, And so it's like we're in an energy now where we're realizing that that Father is gonna provide for us, And so it's like even right now, we as a lot of people are feeling the pinch harder, us chosen ones are gonna be have fluidity financially. And so it's like we're not gonna have to worry about it, And so it's not like we're gonna be having like this big explosive financial, because like the financial system is bust, you know what I'm saying? But as it remains bust, as it goes even more bust, the little things, the things that we've invested in that a lot of people didn't see value in, they're like, that'll never work, kind of like with my vegetables, having a garden, because like really what I want to plant is strawberries, and that's like I'm giving that little financial boost right now with this work that I have. And it's turned out that really, Steve has a lot more work than what I thought he was going to have. And so that spirit like really blessed me, but also it's something that I'm like exchanging my time for coin, but I'm exchanging my time for coin for something that I'm doing that's extremely satisfying also spiritually, And so that's the energy that we're stepping in. And it's like, it's not like a big fat payday. Like I keep saying here, it's like I'm getting I'm getting enough that if I want to, like I want to do, I could plant strawberries, And so like in next year or two, I could have like a robust strawberry harvest, But a lot of people who survived through the Great Depression, which was, we all went through that Great Depression and everything, in the 20s and everything, right? Or at the end of the 20s, started 29. And so what the people who really persevered or made out well in those times were people who had like that cottage industry, like a cottage industry was a big deal because people needed to eat. They needed to have means to survive. I mean, like nobody has had coin in that time. But if you had strawberries, that was more valuable than coin was because coin had no value. That's the problem with the Depression. It lost all its value. King of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay. And so that's what we're about ready to step into here. And so don't be distracted right now or duped into believing, getting sucked into the matrix further instead of pulling yourself back out, like I'm saying. It's like right now, I mean, preserving the acorn out here too. Well, hey, man, you can eat, acorns are food right now. Like if we come into a period, there's bread lines and stuff during the Great Depression, and there's a lot of threats. There's a lot of market instability right now. Boom, Saturn's coming out of that retrograde motion, but that's after Saturn has been giving everybody that retrograde time out to reassess what it is that's going on in their lives, or how it is that we're kind of feeding ourselves, basically. And then now it's like moving forward, Saturn's going to be, it's a smackdown. This is a universal smackdown that's coming right now. Fucking universal smackdown. Do not be naive, okay? Don't be naive right now. Don't wallow in the past energies that we've made the mistakes or pretend like that shit's going to even work from the past or even start worrying about anything from the past that is going to have to deal with this tower right now, because you got to know where it is that you're at in your ascension process and understand that you're good to go. You're protected from this tower, from this King of Pentacles in the reverse right now that's coming, as long as you really stay focused on the fact that you're chosen, that pray to God, listen to God, stay on the path that you're on. Right now the best way to survive a depression, a Great Depression, which they say what we're facing right now is going to be way more greater than, great. It's kind of a strange word. A horrible depression, I guess, is what I would call it. That's what it is that we're going to have to survive, is a horrible depression. In order to survive a horrible depression, you got to be greatly frugal. All right, you guys. So since that tower on the bottom of the deck, we'll pull one more card here, and we're going to close this out. I'll do a quick little, turn the camera around, get out of the pickup here. Little guy, he wants to get out. He keeps finding all kinds of little juicy morsels out here in the woods. I don't know where he gets them from, but it's time for us to activate. All right, got to activate. They need us right now, and so we've been licking our wounds, and it's good. We've reassessed everything. We understand why we survived the battles that we've been through. We understand who and what we are right now clearly, and we're willing to stand in front of Saturn and say, "Hey, man, you judge." We're like, "Nah, we're just tired of getting our asses whooped, and we're just gonna sit here on this fucking table and think about it until you say go." They just said go. Yeah. And it came out of Mercury retrograde too, so that stuff started to move forward, And so quit worrying about it, quit licking your wounds, quit thinking that it ain't gonna work. It's gonna work, Just step up off of there. You may have felt like you lost that battle before you jumped up on that table. That might have been one of them deals where it's like, yeah, you survived, right? Just like one of these oak trees after a big fire, after all them colonizers came out here and took all their bark, And so you've been feeling a little bit like, damn, man, I won the battle, but or lost the battle, but knowing that you still got to go back out there and fight the war, right? And so we've been up there licking our wounds a little because we're like, man, kind of got our asses handed to us here, Spirit. What the hell? Spirit says, hey, you've healed. And so now it's wartime. So get out there and get ready to fucking whoop some ass, child. Saturn is in your corner, You're good to go, you guys. And so that's it for the read. But I'm not going to say peace out yet. I almost did. I almost said peace out and hung up on you. But I didn't. I remembered that I was going to do that. I found a nice little piece of jasper out here. Oh, this is my driveway in my spiritual ranch, But it's a nice little one. I want to get a tumbler because I want to tumble them because it's a nice little red jasper. It's like red. It's got yellow on it stuff. Can't really tell because it's dirty, But it's kind of cool. And I want to get a tumbler though, because I want to tumble them. And then, because I have all kinds of good shit too. I got, like I said, I got jade, and I got a lot of jasper, a lot of different jaspers. But I got all kinds of cool shit, like moissanite, like quartz. I got like pink moissanite, rhodochrosite. I got jade. I got a lot of the serpentine, because like I'm in a green belt, so I got all that cool shit. I got ironstone. That's real pretty ironstone. It's like yellow and green and stuff. Like, I think I did a video where I showed that, but it's pretty, Anyways, I'm not gonna keep you guys all too much longer. I'm trying to make these reads a little faster, you know, a little bit more copacetic. Some of them coin reads are a little bit much, maybe. Okay, let's go. Maybe for some people, you know. And so I'll keep doing them occasionally, but I'm gonna try to. I like to keep shit different, you know. But anyhow, here's what I've been working on, you guys. Boom. It's fucking, look at that sunshine. A little rainbow in there, look at. It's been beautiful out here. But yep, so I kind of let this just all creep. You kind of see it's like burned and everything, you know. But this is that ridge I was talking about over here. Because Spiritual Ranch is right on the other side of this ridge right here. Right there. But you can see how it's like, it burned. You see all the trees are dead, see? All the trees are dead. Because that was the last, let's say, last little finger of that fire that was down, it was like Mendocino, all the way down. It was all over, it was everywhere. It was crazy, great big crazy fire, you know. And so that was the last little finger up here, you know. But it was smoky that whole year. It was brutal. It was really gnarly, you know. But that's why doing this work right here is very good, you know. It's like the forest really appreciates it, you know. They feel it. It's like I remove all the dead trees because like there's some diseased trees. Cause like this one right here, this log right here had a dead top, but that's just basically a dead tree standing. But that's because it was too crowded, it didn't have good air circulation right here, you know. And so like that one, I'm gonna take that one out still. I'll do a little video on that when I do that one. Maybe that's my next read or whatever. But yeah, so I got this all cleared, you know, because this was all, you can see the stumps right here, you know, like this was all just like this back here. I did that one video, you know, where you guys seen it, but I'm gonna finish this little strip right here today. I'm gonna go down on the other side of the fence, about 10 feet out, and then all the way down the hill again. And then I gotta do this whole bottom section over, down, way down in here, all down below these trees, you know, you can see. I'm gonna take out all this manzanita here. I'm gonna still drop this one right here, this big dead one. And so lots of work, you know, and then Steve's got some other places on the property that he wants me to work on, which is great, you know. That's what God's trying to do with us right now, you know, and it's good. So like, you know, take advantage of those opportunities, be resourceful, you know, like with it right now, and be aware of the fact that you're building something, you're working in a direction, like the things that you have been told you're crazy for being aware of that you needed to do with your existence, you know, are now becoming the truth that everybody's going to seek. That's going to be the light that shines brightly out of you. All right. And so that's good. That's a beautiful message. It's a good message. Be aware right now, you guys. Don't let those energies bring you down. Don't feel weak, you know, right now. Don't feel less, you know, don't feel like emotionally that you're have anything to be sad about right now. You know, be aware of the fact that you got that Three of Swords in the reverse position at the very beginning of that read, and then the manipulative energies emotionally came afterwards. And so it's like the gift that we're being given is we're having a healed broken heart right now, and that's going to make us very powerful moving forward, because we know how to stand on our own now, and that's good, that's powerful. And so love y'all, peace out.